Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stack Sats Show. Today is a special episode again. We're doing another interview with the man, the myth, the legend himself, JDub in the house. JDub is a Bitcoiner, and he's recently visited El Salvador, so he's here to tell us all about it. And also, he's going to share with us his orange pill story and a bunch of other fun things. So let's welcome to the show, JDub in the house. What up, JDub?
What's up, homie? How's it going, brother?
Good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, nice to be here. Nice to meet you. Honored. You got a good signal on YouTube, man. I love your show.
Awesome.
Love what it brings. Love the attitude. Just happy to be here, man. Happy to tell people what I saw and show the proof for work.
Exactly. That's awesome. Sir. Yeah, you're like the boots on the ground in El Salvador. It seems like such a foreign thing to me still, right? But I have a lot of questions, so we'll get to all those questions. Hopefully I'm able to ask the questions that you might have watching at home. So let's get started with the first segment of the show, which we like to call the pre-coiner segment. And this is basically what your life was like before Bitcoin and what were the things that guided you towards like discovering Bitcoin and basically your orange pill story.
Okay, yeah. So pre-Bitcoin, I mean, I've been in probably about since 2020, maybe slightly during the COVID times.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was still doing my same job. Basically, I work as an engineer in hospitals in the background. Cool. We work on all the big boiler stuff, the air conditioning stuff, the power generation stuff. So I've been doing that for about 10 years now. Before that, I was always, I always knew or thought that I would do something cool or something different. But I never could really put my hands on it, on what it would be or what it was. I thought for a minute I was investing in stocks and just kind of just going with the flow, what everybody else usually does,
Yep. Yep.
Until I was told by a friend in 2020 about Bitcoin, kind of ignored it a bit like we all do. Of course I ish-coined for a while.
Yep.
I bought like the worst of the worst, like, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, Solana. I mean, you name it, I was in there. Even some sketchier ones, of course, dude. We kind of all go through it.
Yeah.
But again, like I was saying, I was always telling myself and preaching to anyone that would kind of listen to do your due diligence, do the work, and you'll get the results that you're looking for. So eventually I took that approach. I think that approach kind of got me to where I am in life. Luckily I'm happy, I'm home. My life is happy. My kid's happy. Everyone's okay. So I didn't get here, not doing anything. I got here doing what I was supposed to do, walking the walk.
Yep.
From what I was talking the talk. You have to give it everything you have. You have to try, never feel sorry for yourself. And so that went into the same thing with crypto. I started investigating, and obviously once you start investigating Bitcoin, what it really is, what it does, how it works, what it stands for essentially, and you see that it solves a lot of the problems that we're looking at in one place at one time. As far as monetary debasement, inflation, rising prices, staying free from government control. I mean, you name it. Bitcoin solves a lot of these problems, and that's what I saw once I was finally once I did the due diligence. I saw what everybody else saw, and it's like Bitcoin is like one of those things, like you get it and it's like, oh wow, I get it, like, yeah. Okay, let's go now. Why doesn't everybody get this? And then
how long do you think it took that? How long do you think it took from when you started to look into it to that moment where you're like, oh man, why isn't everybody doing this?
It takes a while, I think it took me about 6 to 9 months to finally see the light after studying it.
What were some of the
to
what were some of the things that you were studying? Like, what were some of the resources you were looking at?
I was probably just mostly just YouTube
Yep.
videos. I watch so much YouTube that I tell people after a while, when you listen to people and when you're listening to them talk, you get good enough that you can decipher the good information from the bad on your own.
Yeah.
You'll hear certain things, you'll hear certain terms. You kind of learn who's full of it,
Yeah.
who's not full of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of, who's gaslighting, who's not gaslighting, and then you check those things for yourself, and you see that Bitcoin does solve a lot of these problems for us, and now it solves your savings problem,
Yep.
your retirement problem, every single problem you can think of. Pretty much, it solves it, and so you want to tell the world, and come to find out, like we all come to find out, the world doesn't believe you.
The world
So
doesn't care.
know, they
That's
don't care.
hilarious.
They don't care. I like to use the Michael Saylor example. It's like, dude, if you don't listen to Michael Saylor, who is literally a rocket scientist, literally a
Yeah.
billionaire, astrophysicist, you don't listen to him. Of course, I don't expect you to listen to me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to tell you something that I found or discovered that I think will help, that I'm pretty sure will help. Yeah, so you get to
That's
that place and you try to and tell the world, but the world receives it differently, perceives it differently. Yeah, I think it's because sorry about that.
that's good.
You have to learn how money works first. You have to know what it is you're
Yes.
talking about,
Yeah.
what you're looking at first before you can even move on to Bitcoin.
Yeah. You can't understand the solution if you don't even understand what the problem is first, right? Yeah. That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's funny. So what was the first time you heard about Bitcoin and ignored it? Like what year, or what was the first time you ever heard of Bitcoin? And
Oh,
I added in and ignored it just to make it more dramatic. But what was the first time you heard about Bitcoin?
the first time I heard about it was my coworker. I was working at Cedar Sinai, and my young annoying coworker. He was kind of one of my proteges, and oddly enough, he's Salvadorian.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and shout out to
awesome.
my boy Oscar. And he obviously, this is before the Bitcoin legal tender in El Salvador. But he told,
Oh
we were both
wow.
on an investment tip. Yeah, he found it. He showed me. I remember him specifically showing me his phone Bitcoin at $3,000, and he had bought one. And I told him, of course, I
You're
told him that
crazy.
he was full of it, that he was gonna get scammed. Yeah, I'm guilty of it. I think
That's
we
so good.
probably all are at some point. But hey, I'm guilty of it. I can attest that I did say you're gonna get scammed. You
Yeah.
should go back to the traditional.
Yeah.
Why does this work? Why this will never work? And it's just digital. The
Yeah.
same thing
Yeah.
everyone else says. So yeah, he showed it to me at $3,000, and I didn't do anything about it. So everyone gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve.
That's right.
I really do believe that.
That's true.
So I did not get $3,000. I had to wait a little longer to finally make it happen for myself.
That's
But yeah,
so good.
$3,000 while I was working at Cedar Sinai
Imagine.
Medical Center.
Jeez, if you
Yeah,
go
you would
back.
think I'm working one of the best, like most highly regarded hospitals in the world. You would think I'd be smart enough, but I wasn't.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like you were saying earlier, if you don't understand that there is a problem with the money, then that stuff doesn't appeal to you, right? It's just like, oh, it's a scam. And on top of that, in that era, it was more like people that like black pill of oh, it's for criminals, that kind of stuff. That was more prevalent, right? So
right.
that's
Absolutely.
that's very interesting. Um,
Absolutely.
do you remember the first time you bought Bitcoin? Like, was it? I mean,
Uh,
you could just say like,
um,
was it through an exchange? Was it through like a person, or like I'm just trying to figure out like what kind of experience you had when you bought your first Sats.
yeah, I think it was with crypto.com when things were jumping around COVID time.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Basically,
so
I was smart enough to buy a little bit of Bitcoin,
yeah,
but I still had a lot of
yeah,
mostly all Ishcoin probably.
yeah,
So I had a little bit, through crypto.com. Obviously, I wasn't smart enough to take it off the exchange during
yeah,
that time.
yeah.
Local storage, I still didn't know what that was. But yeah, I was smart enough to still get some and understand that it was the best, but I didn't, you know, exactly know exactly what I was doing, what that entails, and what
Yeah.
Bitcoin actually means.
Yeah, it takes you to another level to do the research of how do you actually pull the coin off of it, right?
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's all like everybody else. It's very nerve wracking.
Yeah.
It's a learning process.
This-
But I tell people, look, and you'll get that as a Bitcoiner trying to orange pill people. You'll get that all the time. Oh, well, I'm scared to take it off the exchange. I always tell people, look, if you can send an email and you can copy and paste something over from one Word document to another, then you can send a Bitcoin transaction.
True.
It's literally copy and paste
Yeah.
and enter. And
That's true.
and there's ways to verify it. Not that simple, but ways to verify it. You can always do your test transactions, of course,
Right.
when the mempool is low, preferably. But if you're going to do a significant amount, even paying 10, 15, $20 for a test transaction is worth it.
Yeah.
Not everything's easy. If it was easy, then everybody would do it.
But
So
you're right.
it's
It
easy,
is.
but not that easy.
Yeah, it is more complicated to type of to write up an email. There's more fields in an email, right? There's a subject, the
Absolutely.
so the sender, sorry, the to field, the subject line, and the body of the email you're writing, right? That's 3 fields. A Bitcoin transaction has a send to address and the amount, right? Oh, and like the I guess the however many fees you want to pay to make it the priority on that transaction. So about the same amount of fields. But yeah, like you said, it's not that difficult. It's just a learning curve, right? So
Right.
that's interesting. So
Right.
do you remember what it was like when you made your first on-chain transfer? So basically, when you first pulled some Bitcoin off of an exchange and you're sending it to your new hardware wallet, and what was that like?
Yeah, for sure. To be completely, it was very nerve wracking. You watch videos
Yeah,
to find out how to do it. Shout out BTC Session.
yeah.
Yeah, he's the man. If you need any tutorials or anything like that, watch BTC Sessions. Also, I met him a couple of times.
Oh,
One of the
cool.
nicest dudes I've ever met.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very very nice guy. Very very humble man. Shout out to him. He can teach you anything. So I had, I was rehearsed in that, and when I
Oh, good,
tried it,
good.
I still did the test transaction. I just verified the first 4, verified the last 4, and hit send, and just assumed that I did it right.
Yeah,
And of course, it always works out. It's not that big of a deal. You kind of get used to it after a while. You still double check and
yeah.
make sure, maybe first 4, last 4.
Yep.
But for the most part, once you get the first one done, it's a little easier. Also, what made it easy was, well, I guess maybe this is a good thing about the Ishcoining part is, so when I was Ishcoining, I was into all the
Oh, yeah.
DeFi and all that stuff. If you're doing DeFi, it's 20 times more complicated
Yeah.
to send from one particular wallet
Yes.
to a different kind of wallet, and then you have to convert it to be able to put it onto this blockchain
Yep.
from that blockchain.
Wrap it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So by that time, the Bitcoin transaction wasn't that big of a
Yeah.
deal.
So you're like, wait, just one
Yep.
step? All right. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I remember like when I was mining Ethereum back in the day, I would get paid in wrapped Ethereum through the Polygon network.
Right.
Because the fee to transfer wrapped Ethereum over Polygon was way cheaper than trying to transfer Ethereum on chain, like on the Ethereum network. It's like so expensive. So I would do that. I'd have to go from the mining place. I'd get paid in wrapped Ethereum to my Polygon wallet or Matic wallet, and then I would convert that to what I do. Oh yeah, to USDT on the Matic network.
Oh God.
And then I would transfer that to an exchange, and then on the exchange I would buy Bitcoin, right? So, right, but like, or something like that, something like that.
Yeah.
But it was
three fees later.
yeah,
Three
yeah,
fees
like
later.
yeah. But even then, even with all those 3 fees, it wasn't as expensive as just moving Ethereum. Ethereum was like so expensive always, right? It's like, man, I'm trying to mine with like GPUs. It's like it's gonna take all my profits, so that's the way we'd have to do it. But yeah, I see what you're saying. All that bouncing around does get you kind of trained up for understanding how, like, just the basics of how a wallet works. So yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Very cool.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Have you ever lost any Bitcoin, or hey, have you ever lost any Bitcoin like in like either you typed something wrong, or have you heard of anybody losing Bitcoin like that?
Um, I haven't personally heard of anyone losing any Bitcoin like that, but I did lose some Bitcoin. Well, technically I'm gonna get some of it back, but it's some of it. I'm still gonna lose some of it. I was a victim. Well, I never say that. I put the quotations
Yeah,
up
yeah,
because you're,
yeah.
you're only a victim if you say you are.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
lost money in Celsius because
Oh,
I
okay.
put money in Celsius, and I decided that the 3, 4, 5% yield, measly yield that I was getting was
Yeah,
worth it.
was worth the yeah.
And yeah,
Okay.
it's just
No, the
but
reason
I'm
I asked the question is not to like berate anybody or to make anybody feel bad. It's a learning lesson. Because my follow up question is
absolutely
what's a lesson you learned from it, right? And like
right.
so initially, what got you to do it, right? Because we know that when the Bitcoin price starts to pump again, these similar patterns are going to happen again, and people are going to get tricked
Absolutely.
into depositing their Bitcoin into someone else's wallet so they can give you a yield, right? And I'm taking air quotes here, right? Because a yield on zero is zero, right? If you lose your coins.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
So what was the big draw for that? Was it the 5%?
Yeah, just the 5% yield. The idea that my Bitcoin would be working for me,
Right.
uh, and growing itself
Yeah.
on its own. Obviously, at that point, I didn't know that Bitcoin will grow on its own.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah.
purchasing power will go up by itself.
Mhm.
That's how this thing works.
Yeah.
And once you get deep in it, you understand that. But back then, I didn't understand that. I come from a traditional stock trading world. At least
Where it's like a
that's what I.
dividend. You consider it like a dividend, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a dividend, and you thought it was normal. Everyone on YouTube said it was normal.
Yeah. Oh
Everyone
yeah,
was.
that's true too.
Yeah, there was kind of links. A couple people that I followed that I trusted that were promoting it. So I thought, hey, why not?
Yeah.
It looks good. A lot of these reputable people
Yeah.
are doing it. Doesn't look like there's any inherent risk there, but again, yeah, I call it the price of paying tuition.
Yeah.
It's that's what it cost you. That's what it cost me at the time.
Yeah.
To learn that valuable lesson. Not your keys, not your coins. Not your keys, not your cheese.
That's right.
It's real plain and simple. So yeah, Celsius taught me that. Luckily it was just me and no one else that I knew really got hurt by that.
Yeah.
So after that, then you become a lot more zen. You
Yeah.
understand what happens, and for real that it's not your keys, not your coins. And again, that the weird part is that's the whole point of Bitcoin, that you can actually take self custody. That's it. Arguably, in my opinion, the biggest part is the self custody. As you can see, that's what they're fighting right now with Elizabeth Warren, and they want to make self custody. Yeah, it's because that's the best part. That's the best thing, is that you can physically hold it. Nobody can stop you. So if you don't have your coins in your possession, or you don't have the keys to your coins, you in a sense you got nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the valuable lesson that I learned from Celsius, and yeah, never again,
Yeah.
never again.
Yes, yeah. So similarly, people got screwed on BlockFi. They had a similar thing there where they were doing a yield on your coins. Um,
Right.
okay, so just the moral of the story here, guys, is don't get sucked into them holding your Bitcoin for you for the sake of some 5% yield or 4% or even 10% yield, right? Because in the end, if they fail, you don't have access. You don't have the keys to the wallet that's holding your coins, so therefore you don't have those coins. Okay, so super
No.
careful with that. Cool. All right, we're gonna jump into the next segment of the show, which we like to call the time traveler segment. Dun dun dun. I was inspired to create this segment because of the movie Back to the Future, where old Biff, travels back in time and gives young Biff the sports almanac with all of the results from all of the sports that are gonna happen in the next 10 years or something like that. And Biff changes to the future because he becomes rich by betting on those things because he knows who's going to win all the whole time, right? And I thought it'd be funny if Biff went back in time and told you, instead of giving you the sports almanac, the future version of yourself went back in time and told you to buy Bitcoin. If you could go back if you could go back in time and tell yourself something, if old JDub could go back and talk to young JDub, what would he say?
Ooh, man. Yeah, well, of course, pay attention to what your friend is recommending, for sure. Don't judge a book by its cover. Um, uh, yeah, study Bitcoin, study finance and study economics. Because in doing that, you'll see why Bitcoin makes sense. Also, you'll learn um, how to more or less keep control of your finances. You know, once you understand these things, and you understand economics, you understand how finance works, how to use other people's money, you can kind of figure out how to play their game.
Yeah.
What I would say to myself is learn how to play that game sooner. I wish if I had learned how to play that game years before, I would probably be a lot better off, in so many words. But at the same time, you still want to, you always, you never regret the way you came, because the way I came, the things that I suffered is what made me now. And that's what made me the way I am now, so you don't know that if you would have been well off 5 years prior, 10 years prior, you might be a rich a-hole, because
Dude.
you don't understand
Yeah.
how what it took, what the blood and the sweat and the tears.
Yes.
It teaches you.
Yeah.
The lessons are the lessons, and the best things are in the on the way there,
Yeah. Yeah.
on the road,
Yeah. The lessons are
on
on
the
the journey. Yeah. In the journey. Yeah.
on the journey. There you
Yeah.
go. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah,
Yeah.
the lessons are all in the journey. That's where all the good stuff is at.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome. That's good. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. So I would just tell myself just that I had the right idea of trying to do something better and something different. I just didn't necessarily know what it was. I would have probably tried to push myself into there sooner, but
Mm.
I don't know how that would have worked out. So I don't dwell on it. I just I take what you have now, and and go for what it's worth, and give it all you got. And once you do, and you realize that you're there, and you realize you're doing things for a reason, then things will work out. Things will work out. So just to be more attentive, younger, and learn how to play that game younger is what
Yep.
I would have told myself. But even then, I don't regret it. I don't
Let's
regret
go.
it.
No, that's good.
That's the journey.
Exactly.
Embrace the grind.
Yeah.
Embrace the grind.
Right.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So then we're gonna flip it on the other side. What would you say to somebody that's let me see. Let me read this exact question. Well, where'd it go? One piece of advice. One piece of Bitcoin advice for someone who might watch this interview in 10 years.
Ooh.
That's a weird one, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. Um, never ever stop DCAing. Never stop buying Bitcoin. Never stop saving your money, your hard-earned money, your energy. It's not money, it's energy. Never stop saving your energy in Bitcoin. It's going to go to 100,000. It's going to go to 200,000. It's going to go to 1 million. It's going to go to 5 million. But even then, never stop DCAing, because like the great Michael Saylor said, and mathematically it can be proven, it's going to go up forever, Laura. So never, that means you never stop saving and buying Bitcoin. It's never too expensive. It's never too much. Once you understand Bitcoin, you'll understand that thesis, and I think that thesis will be true forever.
Right.
It's the hardest money ever invented, or discovered, I should say, and you can't go wrong saving your money in something that's immutable, and that there's only 21 million of, super scarcest asset in the world.
Yep.
Once you learn about money, you learn that that's where you want to be. And so Bitcoin is 10 years from now, Bitcoin will be $10 million. I think that's bearish, but you should still DCA. You should still DCA.
Yeah.
Never stop DCA.
Yeah, because right, because I guess the whole point of this question is, if somebody were to see this video in 10 years and say, man, these guys had Bitcoin at 44,000, 42,000 at the time of this recording, they could be like, well, I'm late. But no, the thesis still holds in 100 years, right? Because again, it's the hardest asset, it's the hardest money you can save you can store your value in, right? So Perfect. So don't be discouraged, person from the future.
Absolutely.
10 years from now, you're not late to the game. It's still gonna preserve your wealth better than anything else that we have in existence, unless something else comes out that's better than Bitcoin. But what's better than Bitcoin at this point, right?
Yeah.
Wild. It's wild. All right, guys. All right, we're gonna jump into the next segment of the show, which we like to call the Bitcoiner segments. This is you've gone through all of your poop coining. You've gone through all of your initial learning phase. You've had your big aha moment and decided that Bitcoin is the way for you. And I'm just gonna ask you a little bit about that, like lessons you've learned along the way, that about Bitcoin that might have changed your outlook on life.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin definitely changes your time preference. First and foremost, your time preference. Um, it makes you a lot more patient. It makes you care more about the outcome of the future. Um, and in doing that, it makes you eat healthier. It makes you do more exercise. It makes you plan out things in the future. Um, it humbles you and makes and it trains you almost to have that low time preference, because when you're in there you almost have to, especially right now Bitcoin is so young. You see these drawdowns and people think that it's bad, or it's going away, or it's going to zero. you know that that's how life is. Sometimes you're down, but you don't feel sorry for yourself. You get back up. You keep planning. You keep working out. You keep hustling. You keep studying. Um, and and just like Bitcoin, you'll come back. You'll come back. It's gonna come back mathematically. Just like Bitcoin comes back mathematically. If you're getting up every day and you're doing what you have to do, whatever it is, goals that you have, and if you're knocking those goals out, you're gonna get to where you want to be. It's just a matter of being persistent, never giving up, always getting educated. In the bull market, the bull market, it's euphoria. In the bear market, that's when you're learning. That's when you're humble. That's when you're building. That's when you understand what it is not to feel sorry for yourself. Uh, Bitcoin also taught me a lot. I was kind of always this way, but it taught me more. Never feel sorry for yourself. Never, 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 never. That's one of the worst things you can do psychologically to yourself is feel sorry for yourself. So then you can be down. So then your energy be down. So then your vibrations are low. You just don't do that. I don't do that. I don't talk like that. I tell my daughter not to talk like that. Because in so many ways, if you talk it, your body and your mind and your psyche, your energy, it doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad. It just knows, like, this is what I'm gonna do, or this is what my brain, or this is what my conscious is telling me to do. And so your body's just gonna go do it. So if you're doing or saying something negative or feel sorry for yourself, um, your body's gonna feel sorry for itself, and you're gonna get sorry for yourself results. As opposed to if you're beasting and you're studying or you're lifting and working out, and you're telling yourself that this is what I am, this is what I do, this is what I'm gonna do, this is my goal. Once you get that, nothing can stop you. I think it's real true. So
That's awesome. That's so good.
Bitcoin and is, uh-huh.
That's so good. I mean, it makes sense. And it's like like you're saying, we're stacking sats, right? And you're stacking weightlifting sessions, right? You're stacking good meals. You're building towards something, like you said, in your health space, in your mind space, in your finances, right? You're stacking everywhere now, right? It's changing your mindset that way. That's cool.
Yeah. And I'm
cool.
still, I'm still a little chubby, but I still got now.
Let's go.
We're there. I'm about 20, 30 pounds less now, much more athletic now. So,
dude, that's a big amount.
So again, yeah, maybe I'm not there yet, but that's the point. The point is to always keep working, and to stay alive.
We're always a work in progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either direction,
Absolutely.
right? If you start making bad choices, you're working towards the other direction, right? But if you start making good choices, you're working towards, like in this case, you're working towards weight loss and getting more fit, which is great. You're seeing the results. That's good.
Absolutely.
Super good.
Absolutely. It's good for everything, man. Bitcoin's
Yeah,
good for everything. I really do believe that.
that's so good. I love it. Okay, so let's see. We have a couple questions here. I'm trying to figure out where we're going to sneak in the your trip to El Salvador.
Okay.
Let's do. Let's see. These can wait till towards the end. Yeah, this can wait towards the end. Let's talk about your trip to El Salvador. Right.
All right.
Full blown Bitcoiner. You're in there, and what was the inspiration for the trip?
Man, I just wanted to see it for myself. I wanted to prove it to myself, and in a sense to people too, that this is in fact going on. I have friends, many Salvadorian friends, obviously, but my friend Byron, shout out to Byron. He was with me the entire time over there
Let's
in
go.
El Salvador, and yeah, he's grown real fond of his home country. He became a citizen. He became a citizen during this time, and he started telling me, "Hey, we can go down there now, Jay. We can go down there now." I say, "I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it, and I want to see what's really happening." So I just decided to put boots on the ground. I always tell people, I mean, uh, tell people, if talk the talk, then walk the walk, and I'm a big believer in that. So I'm gonna be talking all that, and I'm gonna be saying all that. Then I'm gonna
So
go
good.
do it. I'm gonna go see it for myself. I don't mess around. I don't lie to myself. I try not to lie to anybody else. I don't think I do. So I wanted to go prove it to myself and see with my own two eyes. Is it really what people are saying it is? And what I'm seeing on YouTube, is that really true? And so that's what made me initially want to go down there. Just the proof of work, man.
Yeah.
That's what we're about,
All
you
right.
know.
That's awesome. So it was you and your friend Byron, right?
Yeah.
It was just you two guys.
Yeah, so he was already there,
Okay.
but yeah, pretty much it was just he was there like 2-3 days before me,
Yeah.
visiting his girlfriend and their family.
Cool.
So yeah, when I got there, he picked me up. I met up with him, and yeah, it's just me and him, and then our awesome driver from East Adventures, El
That's cool.
Salvador, Brothers SV.
Brothers. Okay.
Um, Brothers SV, they have their own little business, so it was him as well. Um, he was a very nice guy. Ultimately, he pretty much it became like a three-man crew
That's cool.
because yeah, after a while, like it wasn't like my driver's picking us up. It's like, okay, my other buddy is picking us up,
Yeah.
and he just happens to know where everything is at.
Yeah.
So
Did you did
yeah,
you
so
did you go out
yeah,
there with the?
we tried to make him. Yeah, we tried to make him feel at home, and
That's good.
and and yeah, by the second or third day, he was just another friend with us on a trip, which made it that much better.
That's cool. Did you have a
Yeah.
plan when you got out there as far as like things you wanted to see?
Um. So I didn't really know what to expect. I knew I wanted to go to El Tunco,
Hmm.
Bitcoin Beach, El Zonte. I wanted to go to Berlin too, shout out my friends Nikki and James, Charlie and Jethro over there putting in work over there in Berlin. I had to go see Bitcoin Berlin.
So what's happening?
Uh,
Sorry to cut you off. I just want to know, like, because we're going through all these different places. What's and like the latest thing that's happening is at Bitcoin Berlin, or what's happening there?
yeah. So Bitcoin Berlin is very excited to go there. It's a beautiful small town in the mountains. It takes about 2.5, maybe 3 hours from San Salvador with the traffic to get there. Um, yeah, it's pretty a rural route. There's streets, but you're going through. Of course, I mean El Salvador is
Yeah.
like a big, beautiful jungle.
Yeah.
Is what it is. So you're going through jungles, and driving through, and you get there, and you just get to a nice little quiet town, um, with like a center plaza,
Yeah.
and it's bustling, man. It's happening over there.
That's cool.
Yeah, you walk there. It was like a Tuesday, and there was vendors all across the plaza. Most of them Most of them were already orange pilled and were accepting Bitcoin there.
That's good.
Thanks to my friend, the work that our friends Nikki and James and company are doing out there.
That's awesome.
And it was beautiful to see, man. It was beautiful to see. They were happily accepting Bitcoin. We would ask them, hey, so what are you going to do with this Bitcoin? Are you going to sell it for fiat? We would ask them, and me and Byron would ask them. They said, no, we're going to save it. Oh, okay, good. So
Yeah, yeah.
so they know,
That's
and
wild.
these were like some of these people. The people working these booths were like 10-year-old kids, 12-year-old
Yeah.
kids,
Oh, wow.
13-year-old kids.
Yeah.
So they knew, which is the good thing. So not all the businesses were Bitcoin ready or accepting Bitcoin.
Right.
But you can see it growing. You can see just the nobility, the niceness of the
Yeah.
people. Those people are so humble, so modest. It's very humbling. It's very humbling, to be quite honest. To have people that don't know you receive
Yeah.
you and with smiles and
Yeah.
in that way, shape, and form. It's just again, it's very humbling, and it's beautiful to see that they're starting to accept it, and that the younger people are. The older people is always going to be the older
Yeah.
people. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a straight pueblito
Yeah.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
small town. So, the older people, of course, they're not going to get it, but the younger people are already getting it, and they're doing it.
Yeah. It's
You know,
it's
it,
already
it gives
it's
you a
already
good,
like gonna
yeah,
phase
it
in.
gives you
It's
a good
gonna
feeling.
phase in. Yeah. That's
Yeah, it gives you
interesting.
a good feeling. Like, yeah, these kids are going to make it, dude. These kids are going to be
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, for
Yeah.
real.
That's
Yeah, these
that's
kids are going to make
interesting.
this.
Um,
Yeah,
so you speak Spanish, right?
I do.
Okay,
I
so
do. Yeah,
how
fluent. So.
perfect. So okay, so let's talk about that experience of you get like an extra layer of connection. I feel with the people if you speak Spanish, if you speak the language. Like, what was that
Absolutely.
like?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome. Very humbling. Again, everybody is so nice. Like I just can't get over. I can't overemphasize how nice and humble everybody was. To connect with them in Spanish, obviously they can tell. My Spanish is not perfect, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty fluent though. But
yeah.
they can tell that obviously I'm not from there.
They're making the effort. Yeah,
It's a different, yeah, it's a different dialect,
yeah, yeah.
so
I
to
guess it's
speak.
different dialect. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I guess. But we understood each other.
yeah.
Actually, my driver, Nefta, shout out Nefta. He said, "No, I can understand you. You're good." He was like, "Other people understand so much." He was like, "But your Spanish is okay." So yeah, it was beautiful to talk to him and ask him questions in Spanish, and so they can they can really tell you how they
They can
feel
express
in
themselves
their home
easier.
language.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
they can
awesome.
really tell you what they're feeling like. So it was just beautiful to see, and it was just it was just a great experience for anyone to go down there and to talk to them and see the actual. You can when you get off in these places, you can feel the energy, you can feel the positivity that these people are not don't they feel safe.
Yeah,
They understand that and they're just grateful for it. So yeah, in talking to them, I would
that's
ask them
interesting.
questions in
Yeah,
Spanish, and yeah, they were.
open.
I didn't get one complaint. Put it
That's
like that, not one.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
So you made it down to Bitcoin Beach, right? That was like one of the first basically beachheads, I guess, beachheads for Bitcoin in El Salvador, right? Um,
right.
did you get to? I know I asked you like while you were out there over Twitter. Um, any fishing?
I didn't get any fishing
Okay,
in. I know.
I
I
know.
should
No,
have got some with my boy Roman, so I can give you more stories. But I didn't get any fishing in. We were trying to get in as much as
did you make it to any
possible, and
beach
we were there.
towns like so you could see the water?
Oh yeah. You're right there on. We were right there on like on the beach,
Perfect.
pretty much. Although I was only there one day,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't get to see a lot of stuff. In the daytime, we were kind of showing up,
Cool.
kind of when the sun was coming down
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
So I didn't get to do a lot of beach stuff, but we did go to the beach. We went to a couple places right there on the kind of in between El Tunco and El Zonte. Bitcoin Beach. I believe that's the actual Bitcoin Beach, if I'm
Right.
not mistaken. And yeah, there's a bunch of shops, couple shops except Bitcoin, Bitcoin ATM.
Wow.
So it was like a Wednesday night, I believe. So it was a bit lonely, lonelier than I'd hoped.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to see some. You get a good taste of kind of what's going on over there.
That's cool.
Um, at the stores and at the beach, the little beachfront stores, the
Yeah.
beachfront bars.
Did-
Yeah, I'm asking everyone about Bukele.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Bukele as they should.
That's fun.
Yeah, I would constantly tell them, hey, you got the best president in the world, dude. In Spanish, I would tell them, trust me, you don't know what I'm dealing with over there. You got your president is awesome.
That's hilarious.
You know? Yeah.
This might be like a weird, an off question, but like, were you curious, or were you curious about, and if you were, did you ask about like the expenses around there? Like for example, what does it cost to rent a house or to own a house in El Salvador?
Yeah, I did. Actually, I went over there with the idea of possibly even buying something while I was over there. I knew it would be kind of far-fetched because it was just my first time, and you still have to get some paperwork done as a foreigner.
Like a visa or something? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I did go over there with the possible intentions of me and Byron splitting something, or we went open-minded.
Yeah.
So we didn't see anything that was really within our realm and that we both really agreed on, but we did get a glimpse of what it looks like. And so, for example, in Berlin, you can rent a nice little 2-3 bedroom in Berlin for maybe $200-$300 a month.
Wow.
He said, you want something nice, $500 a month. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I don't want to tell you what percentage of that I pay here, but dude, it's amazing. Trust me, it's amazing.
You live for 6 months.
Yeah, I live in LA.
You live for 6 months in Salvador.
Yeah, dude. It's like, yeah, maybe I should move over here like last week, maybe, So you gotta set it's very cheap. You can, if you wanted to buy like a lot and even a decent area, an empty lot.
Where you could build something. Yep.
To build something, you can buy one on the beach for like 90, 100,000.
Wow.
If you buy somewhere rural where it's not really built up, man, you can come out of there 10, 20,000. You might come out of there with a couple acres.
Damn, that's crazy.
So yeah, it's wild. It's wild. There's so much.
Yeah.
There's so much untapped potential there. It's all open. They're still constantly building. So you can already tell what areas they're going to build next. Like, okay, this place is built up to here. There's a new shopping center right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That area right there is probably next.
Yeah.
So you can already start eyeballing it and start, kind of unraveling ideas in your head. And I think that's kind of what we learned this time around is that, well, for sure, I'm gonna hopefully God helps me, and I'll eventually purchase a piece of land over there, maybe an acre or two, live off the land. You can plant any fruit right there; it will grow. It will grow. Like you don't even have to try.
Yeah, they got a lot of rain, right?
Yeah, a lot of rain. It's all tropical. Everything is green. You can get fruit off the side of the road right there, like just from a tree, regular tree, a banana tree. Yeah, it's like that. It really is. So we got to see. I think, long story short, there's a lot of opportunity over there for people that want to either grow, expand, or potentially leave to El Salvador. Everyone's situation is different. Everyone has different outlooks, but I can assure you, it's definitely a place worth looking at. If you're looking for a new frontier for your family, a positive frontier, a positive vibe for your family, it's definitely a good place to look. I always tell my mom, and she agrees. I told her, look, I'm gonna go over there because I'm gonna check out this new frontier, this new beautiful thing that I found, and that I'm gonna have to go look at this thing and see if it maybe in the future it's gonna be better for my family.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know that yet. That's why I need to go see for myself.
Yep.
And I said, just like you and Dad came over here when you guys were teenagers, you guys were looking for a better place for us to be here, and you found it and you came here, and I thank God for that you came here. So and you doing that. If I don't do that, if I don't seek a potential different frontier, I might not leave.
Right.
But what if we have to leave? What if we do go World War III? I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
So it's my job as the leader of my family, of my small family, to go find out these things for myself and
Yep.
see if there's better opportunities or safer opportunities for us to live in a different place. You know, and going to El Salvador, that's what I went to go see this new frontier, see what it's about, and see if it potentially has a place for us in the future. Yeah, you want to make sure you get your little piece of paradise, you know, and so it's gonna happen. People are gonna see that place, and it's still an uncovered gem. People are gonna go over there, dude, and you're gonna fall in love with it. You have no choice. You have no choice. Once you get there and you feel the vibes, you see the people's faces, you see how they respond to you, how they treat you. Oh, you're gonna want to go, or you're gonna at least want a vacation there at the very least.
True.
Yeah. In my case, I'm gonna try to get a second home, and again, if things don't go well here, then you'll be able to find me in El Salvador.
Yeah, the plan B going.
Definitely.
Yeah, that makes
sense. It was that good. It was that good that I considered. I already talked to the wife about it. You know, everything's kind of wait and see.
Yeah.
You don't want to be definitive about everything. Kind of play everything by ear, but always be ready. You know, and going over there, I got to make connections. I got to meet the guys from Brothers SV, Isa and Nefta. Man, those guys are awesome.
So what's Brothers SV?
Brothers SV, that's their Facebook. That's their Facebook page. And I believe and Isa Adventures is the YouTube and Facebook page that where they run their business from. A pair of brothers and their family. Are
they guides?
Yeah, yeah. So those guys are super awesome, super nice. Like I said, they became my friends.
Awesome.
So
we'll add that. We'll add that to the show notes down in the description when this comes out too. So that's great.
Yeah, if you're ever gonna go down there, when you do go down there, give those guys a call. They'll make you feel good. They'll make you feel at home. They couldn't be nicer. They're like, those guys were so nice. Like I told Byron, I said, watch, he's not gonna take my tip. He's like, oh, he'll take your tip. I said, he's not gonna take my tip. And sure enough, when I got there, I was trying to give him a tip on a certain day, and he didn't want to take it. He didn't want to. And Byron was like, how do you know? I said, well, I was like, I can tell how humble he is. He's not gonna take it, dude. That's how they are. Like, you know, those kind of things. You can't fake those things. You know, you can't fake that sort of modesty, that humbleness. So they were awesome. They took care of me. They can pick you up from the airport. They can drive you around for the whole time, and you know, basically act as your tour guide, or they can just drop you off, whatever you want. But yeah, if you ever go into El Salvador, I highly recommend giving those guys a call. I don't have any affiliation with them like that, or any business affiliation. Yeah. I just, you know, they're just my friends now.
That's awesome.
You know, yeah, and
that's how it kind of works, right? You have one guy go out there, you start making all the connections, then you share the connections, and everybody benefits. So it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what we did too. Yeah, me and Byron made some good, very valuable connections out there, and we can't wait. Shout out to David too. We got David out there with us now too. He's Salvadorian, but he lived out here for a while, and he's full. That guy talks better English than me. Oh. Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap up the El Salvador portion of the interview with a question about what was the best meal you had while you were in Salvador?
Oh, best meal. I think it was on the way out. Ed, can you give me a second?
Yeah, of course.
Second. So sorry about that. Where were we?
The best meal you had while you were in El Salvador.
Oh, the best meal. Yeah, actually, so there's this place.
Oh,
yeah, you gotta go here. So there's this place. It's right off the airport. I actually went on my way to the airport, about to leave. My driver tells me, he's awesome. He knows where everything's at. He's like, there's this place. I forgot what it's called. But it's right next to the airport. All they sell is pupusas. It's like a whole block, and all they sell is pupusas. He's like, nah, dude. He's like, I got the spot for you. Like, you think you have pupusas? He's like, have you ever had camaron pupusas? I was like, oh. I was like, no. He's like, you ever had chorizo pupusas? I was like, no. Oh, no. Like, you ever had strawberry pupusas? I'm like, oh my. He's like,
it's like dessert.
He's like, they got place where they got the exotic pupusas. And I'm like, oh, well, let's go, dude. Let's go. So yeah, I did the pupusas with the shrimp. Oh man, I don't really need to say much. It's
That's
shrimp,
awesome.
cheese, and
And
yeah,
garlic
yeah. It was
and butter.
awesome.
Yeah.
I've never even seen that before, much less tasted it. So yeah, definitely what do you call them? Pupusas exóticas,
Yeah.
exotic pupusas was it.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Never seen anything like it, dude. That was crazy,
That's awesome.
crazy. Yeah,
Super
yeah.
cool. All right, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're still in the Bitcoiner segment, but let's talk about your philosophy on orange pilling friends and family. Do you do it?
So I still do it. I still try. As much as it pains me and as frustrating as it is to get rejected, like we all get rejected trying to orange pill people. Um, I've talked myself out of doing it, and then I talk myself back into doing it, and then I talk myself back out of it.
Oh my God, it's true.
Only because I yeah, I don't. It's kind of hard. It kind of takes your energy away. It does sap a bit of your energy when you're getting shot down. So it hurts you in a way. It brings that's the best way I can. It kind of brings your energy down. So, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you have to, if it in a way, like not in like a bragging way, in a humble way. Like if you're like Spider-Man. I always think about Spider-Man. Uh, um, with great power comes great responsibility. So me being the Bitcoiner and me knowing what I know, it's like I have a superpower, and I have to try. I have to try to help people. I love them. I appreciate them. I want them to do good. So that part always brings me back to it doesn't matter if you get shot down, Jay. Just try it again. Try to come from a different angle. Don't say nothing, and then let them talk about the high prices, and see if you can sneak it in through there. Yeah, I learned that everybody gets Bitcoin for a different reason or for a different part, whether it's inflation or whether it's the immutability part.
Yep.
Or the scarcity part, the digital gold part. So I still try to do it. I've got a couple people. It was actually I orange pilled 2 people in El Salvador while I was there,
What?
and it was actually it was actually easier. You know why? Because the first thing I would tell them, yeah, they'll see all my Bitcoin stuff. I'm wearing a bunch of Bitcoin clothes, and then hey, you got Bitcoin? You ever heard about Bitcoin? Like, no, yes or no. Oh well, look, man. Well, Bukele is awesome, right? They're like, yeah, and I'm like, well. Bukele is awesome, and he's also a Bitcoiner. That guy knows what he's doing, and that guy's gonna make El Salvador one of the richest countries in the world. You should get in on that, dude. As a matter of fact, download this wallet, and I'll send you a couple 100,000 stats right now. And they were like, what? And like I said, once you made the comparison to Bukele, they know Bukele is a man.
Yeah.
So, and they'll do it. I'll send them some sats. They're stoked. Like, look, keep studying this thing. This will help your family for the next 10, 20 years, 100 years, whatever. Just study it, keep going, and it'll help you. And you want to, again, you're going to go over there to walk the walk, then all right, then go help the people too. Go bring I went to go take my money to support El Salvador, to keep their economy rolling, to show them that, yeah, making a Bitcoin legal tender does work. It makes me want to bring my money over there.
Yeah.
So I think, that's key. That's key. I kind of lost track and went
that's good.
off track there.
That's good.
The main question was, but
it was like philosophy on orange pilling friends. Like you do it, you don't do it, and then you kind of on and off. But hey, it's kind of I when you're saying that like it brings you down because you feel like you're getting rejected personally, but it's not a personal rejection of you, right? But but you still feel that way. You still take it that way. Like, oh man, this guy thinks I'm an idiot, right? Or but no, they don't think you're an idiot. They just think that they just don't know about Bitcoin enough, right? And it is our job to present the information when they're ready for it. Let them know that you're available to present the information when they're ready for it, even if they're not ready for it now, right? That's cool.
Right.
You become your
this current Roman.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, they're gonna say that guy was AI, dude. Now all of a sudden, all
No,
of a
it's all
sudden the
good.
glare's gone.
Close the window. That's so good. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. I love it. So, to wrap up the Bitcoiner segment, what are you working on these days? Like, what's your goal as far as like Bitcoin or just in life? What are you working towards?
Um, I'm really I'm really gonna try to establish. I don't want to say too much, but
Yeah,
me and Byron got some plans
perfect. That's
going
good enough
for
right there.
Salvador.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, we got some plans. Try to set some stuff up in El Salvador.
very cool.
I'm going to again, like I said, I'm going to try to eventually purchase some property over there. So um, I'm going to try to build something out there and see if that works out for me and if it works out better for my family. And so that's
Yeah,
I'm big on visualization.
yeah,
So it's in my head now. So my brain is starting to the gears are starting to turn
yeah,
on those ideas.
yeah.
And usually when I do things like that, it usually works out. It usually happens. It usually works. I'm a big believer in that. So my brain is already peeling that orange apart right now and
That's so good.
seeing how I can get down there and how I can uh, uh, make my mark or
Hmm.
just or help the people or still live here and go vacation over
Yeah,
there. I don't know exact details of it, but I know it's going to involve El Salvador, hopefully.
that's
And
very cool.
whether it's just on vacation or not, or whether it's just to help my friends'
Hmm.
businesses or not, I don't know yet. But I know that I'm going to come at it with real good intentions. And usually when you do things like that, things work out. Come here, Jim.
That's true. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me give you guys a treat. Come here, boy. Fine. I
He
was
said
gonna
I'm
give you guys
out.
a treat, show you
Camera
guys my awesome dog, but
camera
he ran
shy.
away.
That's funny. All right. So let's jump into the last segment of the show, which we like to call two sats.
Uh, all right.
With all of your experience so far, what is the single most important insight you've had about Bitcoin?
Oh, the single most important insight about Bitcoin. Um, there's so many, but I think the most important thing is the protection that it provides your family and your children and their children. The protection and the ability to put away and save your energy for future generations. To me, that's the most important part. You know, I have a family and kids, so uh, that's what I literally live for, that to try to make their existence not maybe not easier, but smoother. You don't want to make it too easy, but you want to make it smoother. You want to make it to where they're doing things for the right reason, and they're not dealing with a currency that's being completely debased every day. Um, it's a really ugly thing to think about, what the government is doing, what these people are doing with the money, how they're completely destroying it. They're making it to where if my house costs $500,000 in 15 years when my daughter's ready to buy it, how much is it going to cost then? I probably for sure I won't be able to afford my own house by then because of what they're doing. And it's people. I don't know why people don't think about that, but it's a very scary thought. It's a very scary thought to learn and understand that, yeah, your kid's not going to be able to buy a house. They're going to be renting for their whole life, and they're not going to know what it is to own. And I think Bitcoin brings you that hedge, brings you that safety, brings you that insurance, to that, okay, the government, you're going to keep printing like you're printing, and you have to mathematically keep printing um because there's no way for you to pay your bills without printing. Okay, well then what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy Bitcoin, and your printing is going to pump my Bitcoin, and so that's the hedge. It's the hedge. It's the protection for your family. I think that's the most, as far as, depends on what your principles are and what your goal is. But my goal is to protect my family. That's it. 100% is to protect them. And I think Bitcoin, among other things, it does exactly that. It protects my family in the future, and hopefully, long after I'm gone, it'll protect the other generations
Yeah.
as well. I think that's probably the most important thing about Bitcoin.
That's awesome. I love it, dude. Thanks for taking the time. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Besides X at JDub Laker 24 at JDub the Laker 24. Do you have anything else you want to promote as far as like links?
Not so much for myself, but definitely hit up Brothers SV and
On Facebook?
Eastside Adventures. My friends over there in El Salvador, Eastside and Nefta. Their business is awesome. They're very humble, so helpful. Just beautiful people that I'm lucky to call my friends.
Very cool.
Go out there, support them. If go out there, El Salvador, go see it for yourself. Support those guys. Give them a call, and you'll be happy that you did it, man. So yeah, just go down there. If you have any second thoughts about visiting El Salvador, dude, trust me, just go. It is worth it. I can't wait to go back. I'm already potentially going back soon, hopefully.
Let's go.
Just go and see it for yourself, dude.
Yeah.
Don't take my word for it. Just I tell everybody all the time, don't take anybody's word for it.
Go
Don't
check it
take my
out.
word about Bitcoin. Don't believe me. I'm just another idiot talking. But go once you go see it for yourself, and the proof is in the pudding.
Yep.
You know. So go see it for yourself. Call those guys, Brothers SV and Eastside Adventures. Anything you need out there, car rental or a guide, they'll do both. They'll do all that stuff. So yeah, just give them a ring, man. You guys won't regret it.
Very cool.
Sure.
Very cool. Well, JDub, thank you so much for the interview and for taking the time to do with us today. Let's take JDub out with a round of applause from the live studio audience. All right, JDub, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. Anytime. Thank you.
And just like that, this wraps up our second interview for the Stack Sats show. JDub was amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And man, I really like the way these interviews are flowing. I feel like I'm finding my interview chops again. And with guests like these, you can't miss. So once again, thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you guys daily, Monday through Friday, 12:30, 3:30 Eastern. We're here where we stack stats every day, Monday through Friday. All right, guys. Until then, I'll see you later. And remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking.